Finish up here.
Okay, guys, we're already live, so you can keep it down. We're gonna wait for a couple students to get in here. We're a little early with our presentation. It's 10:52, so we're waiting for people to start joining us. But while we're waiting, we are going to keep our presentation up, and I'm going to bring in a few more students. All right. Good morning. If you're here listening, this is Ashley Gillespie, and we'll kind of do more of a formal introduction in just a couple of minutes. I'm waiting on one more student to join us so we can present. It looks like we have 2 viewers, and we're so excited that you're here. If you want to, you can use the chat, the group chat, and we'll answer questions. But we also have a link to our Today's Meet. And sometimes the chat doesn't work quite right, so I like to use Today's Meet. And it also, we can print it off and it keeps a record of what we've been doing. So if you're new to us, please click on the Today's Meet and we will chat with you. It's also a good way as we're giving our presentation, you can ask us some questions. So we're gonna wait 1 more minute while we get our other student in here to join us. And then we'll start.
Spring Grammar's checking out.
Okay, she'll be on her way. All right. Oh, do we have to? Okay. Good morning. My name's Ashley Gillespie. I teach at Butterfield Trail Middle School in Van Buren, Arkansas. And I have some students here with us today.
I'm Debbie Quijada.
I'm Kate Richardson.
And
I'm Ashton Rodriguez.
okay, and we're so glad you're with us. Today we're going to be talking about social media in the classroom. And it's going to start off with these students, and they'll be talking about some social media that we use in the classroom. And then I'll pop in as they're talking. And then at the end, when they get finished talking about some tools we use, I'm going to talk about some social media one-on-one or some teacher tools. And then we'll field some questions. At the end, if you want to talk about any kind of social media or ask any sort of questions, please feel free to share those with us. We're trying to plug into our Promethean board here. There we go. We've got a presentation. On our presentation, we talk about using Today's Meet. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing that now. If you haven't yet, this is going to be a good way for us to field some questions as you're watching. So if you don't mind, go ahead and go to this link, www.todaysmeet.com/socialmediaecg. That way we can keep up with some of your questions and also send it out when we get finished. All right. We're going to start with Instagram. Actually, wait, before we do, we've got a learning target for today. This is how we start all of our classes here at Butterfield. We have learning targets, so at the end of class we know if we've met our goal. So our goal for today is I can learn about ways to utilize social media to enhance teaching and learning. All right. If you want to go ahead, Debbie. Okay.
We use Instagram mainly in 3 ways, and one way is.
Yeah, I think they can hear you. If you don't mind, go ahead and tell us if you can hear so we can get a sound check. Can anybody hear us? Thumbs up. I think they can.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
One way we use Instagram is to promote school activities, to share our school successes. We use it to share our school successes and to gain community support and to let parents, community, and our school staff to know what's going on.
And the picture you see here is directly from my Instagram account. This was about a student council activity, and you can see a few of the kiddos we've got here in those pictures. Yeah, it looks like Astrid and Kate are both there. All right, and keep on going.
Another way we use Instagram in our school is to celebrate student success. This encourages hard work in the classroom, and our students become the star of learning. And it also lets parents, community, and school staff know what's going on.
Okay, so talk about just some ways we've used Instagram in the classroom so far.
We've used Instagram so far by one assignment of ours was to post an Instagram picture of the Bill of Rights, of one of the Bill of Rights, and to write about it in our caption.
Yeah, so you chose an amendment.
Mhm.
What amendment did you choose?
I chose how we have the right to bear arms.
Okay, and then they posted on Instagram their interpretation of the right to bear arms. Do any of you have anything to add on that? Okay. I also like using Instagram to share what's happened that day, because students feel, I've noticed that the next day when they come into class, a lot of times they'll be like, oh, I saw that you posted that picture of me on Instagram. And it shows them learning, so it makes them proud of what they're doing in class, hopefully. All right, you can go ahead.
We also reinforce activities. Students see what they missed or reminded of what they did in class. So if we see a post of Ms. Gillespie's on Instagram and we weren't there on that day, we know like what's been happening and what to catch up on. And students also become the star of learning, and also parents, community, and our school staff know what's going on.
So it's just the same thing kind of over and over again, but it's Instagram as a tool to do these different things. But letting your parents, letting your community and school staff know what's happening in your classroom, really, it's a good communication tool. So we've liked using that. I've used Instagram to share notes that we've done in class. So if students have missed class, they can look on Instagram real quick, and I can know that they've seen it by just they can hit a little button, and I know that they've liked my post, which is really cool, especially if I kind of advertise a event that's coming up, or an activity that we're going to do in the upcoming week, and they post that, and they like that. I can kind of get a gauge on how interested they'll be, and then I can access that they've already looked at that a little bit. Are there any questions about Instagram use in the classroom? If you want to comment on our group chat, or if you want to comment on our today's meet, you definitely can. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to Twitter. But if we have more questions about Instagram, we'd be happy to come back and talk more about that. Let's see. All right. Astrid's going to talk about Twitter.
So on Twitter, we share the schools and student success, such as earlier this last year, 3 students from Ms. Gillespie's classroom went to all-region jazz band tryouts, and they made it. And so she can share their success with other students and make it known. And I
can talk about this one if you want to. So I also use Twitter a lot as a professional development. And if you look on there, you can see hashtag SSChat, which I'm sure a lot of you are pretty familiar with, education chats like SSChat or hashtag TLAP for Teach Like a Pirate. And they have chats once a week that I've really gotten into and like being a part of. This teacher, this was just following the attacks on Paris, shared this resource on Twitter, and I happened to see it, and we actually used it the next day in class. So that was pretty neat. So a great way to just get some ideas for classroom.
It also encourages students to become active in learning, such as I and this girl, JC, we had an assignment to do sharing some words with Paris and our condolences. And we also reflect on activities that we've done in class. I tweeted in the activity we worked together so that we could all reach a common goal.
So we do little activities in class, like we call this a breakout, and I'd be happy to talk more about breakouts later in this session. So we actually have a chart in class, and I encourage students to use hashtags that we create along with our class hashtag. That's that SSG6. And they can reflect on what we've done, and it allows students to very briefly create a reflection, but also so that students can see what other students thought too. So all of my students in my 6-hour class, which is the SSG6, can follow that hashtag and see that, oh, well, I thought this about this assignment, but maybe somebody else thought something different. So they can grow off of each other's accomplishments. Okay.
We also use Twitter for surveys and what each student thinks about what's happening in class. So this was a poll on which hashtag we should use, and as you can see, the poll that won was hashtag SSG6. And you could use many different polls to kind of decide on what to do in class. And we also share classroom activities. So Ms. Gillespie, she shows us what we do in class. So if a student is absent, they could see that that's what we did in that day.
So I really use it as a good communication tool, and no offense, guys, but kind of trick you into finding out about things that maybe you wouldn't have thought second about. So when you get home and you're checking your Twitter or your Instagram, you're not necessarily thinking, oh, well, I'm going to study a little history or think back on what we did today in history class, but you are a little bit. So it kind of reminds you of what we did in class that day. Are there any questions about Twitter or Twitter use in the classroom? We've started using Twitter as little assignments, like if you want to choose to turn your project in on Twitter, you can. And I can explain how we do that. Like I said, we have our hashtag SSG6, and I'll talk more later, but it's very important to have that hashtag so you can kind of keep track and organize all of your tweets together. But then we have assignment hashtags too. So if you notice, I might go back. Okay. If you notice here, these are the class assignment hashtags. So these students had to tag our hashtag SSG6, but also tag the assignment hashtag. And this one was Students for Paris, where I asked them to research and then send a condolence. And this one where they took part in this breakout session, and then they had to do a reflection and talk about one thing they learned. So again, it makes learning kind of fun, but then also shares with other students. Any other comments on that?
You also retweet it to let us know
share
that
it to other students.
Yeah.
we've seen it.
Yeah, so you can see here that the green, I've retweeted both what Astrid said and what JC said, so that, again, more people will see it. And that's also, hi ET, thanks for joining us. It also will allow us to kind of share with the public and the community and parents, anybody that might be following me, what we're doing in class. It's almost like an advertisement. All right, we want to move on. Cade is here, and he's going to talk a little bit about Remind, which is really a teacher tool, but students can use it too, kind of like the other social medias.
Remind 101 is awesome, I think. We use it to contact parents because kids don't always remember stuff, and I'm sure most of you guys have experienced that quite a bit. But for example, Ms. Gillespie can use Remind 101 to tell parents to not forget the Challengers team will be walking to Fairview Cemetery and the train station tomorrow from 8:50 to 11:09, and that all students should wear comfortable shoes. So this helps communicate throughout the classroom, not just in it. She can send assignment alerts to students, watch the debate tonight and take notes, and we could earn extra $20 in class money for the week, which was really cool. And also club notifications. For example, I'm in student council, and so when Ms. Gillespie needs to remind me of something, she can use Remind 101 to do this.
Asher's going to talk a little bit more about our class economy and debate that it mentions in the Send Assignment Alerts.
We use economy to like behave in class. That's what Miss Gillespie uses it for. And also we have jobs in the classroom. So if you have if you're the errand runner, then you get paid a certain amount of money, and at the end of the month or
At the end of the week, you get paid, and then at the end of the at the end of the night, after the end of the week, you can buy things like a ticket to go to the bathroom. We have so many times you can go to the bathroom per team, and so they can add an extra time to go to the restroom if they want to, or they can turn a individual assignment into a group assignment.
And this also helps students get more involved in the classroom and just make a contribution like they will later on in life to society.
Okay. All right. I'm going to talk now. We're rolling through here. If you have any questions, please stop us and tell us to pump the brakes and slow down, because we definitely want to spend time answering your questions. I'll talk a little bit now about social media 101. So these are just my general tips to you for how to start a social media account or use social media in your classroom. So if you're new to Instagram or Twitter, please let me know and I can help you get an Instagram or Twitter set up. If not, you're probably, or maybe if you're new, you're probably struggling with whether you should have a school account or a personal account. And I'm kind of opinionated when it comes to that. I know a lot of people have the school versus personal, or school and a personal account. I choose not to. I choose to have one account for the same reasons I tell my students to post to me on Twitter, Instagram, and not make a school account. They definitely can, but I like to say that I'm the same person in the classroom that I am outside of the classroom. So I choose what I put on my account, but I want my students to know that I'm the same person regardless. I don't have this secret me account, but that's a personal choice, and I definitely know that there's other people that would disagree with me, and I'm open to that too, but that's my opinion. But I do choose my brand, and I do like to choose how and what I'm posting. So outside of the classroom, I post a lot of healthy living things or things with my family. If I'm on a vacation, I might post a historical fact about my vacation, because mainly I'm just a super nerd. Yep. They all agreed. But at school, I really want my account to be about the students and about what we learn, and try to make them center. They're gonna make fun of me again. Next, very important, you need to take care of you if you're on social media. I do not interact with students unless it's visible to the public, and even then, very, very, very rarely. So I tell students hey, this is what we did in class today, or I posted on my account. But if somebody responded back to me and said, Mrs. Gillespie, that was fun, I probably won't respond to anything. If they send me a direct message, I don't respond, just kind of to keep on the safe side. I don't follow students, mainly because I love y'all, but sometimes I'm not interested. No, and what's happening?
Oh, sure.
There's some things that I want to keep in my head as a student and not know what's going on outside of the classroom. So, but I do definitely post like I did with the all-region congratulations. I really want to post that sort of thing, but I very rarely tag students too. I choose that.
Just mention them.
Yeah, you just name them.
I just name them. I don't put their actual account because I don't want to link it to them. I like to choose smart handles and hashtags. So my recommendation is, if you have a handle for Instagram, to have the same handle for Twitter, just because it helps get the same people will know that's you. And also, very important, check your hashtags. Don't choose maybe like our hashtag SSG6 if there's something that's maybe not so appropriate that's being used for. So be sure to check your hashtags. And you can do that by going to Twitter and just searching the hashtag that you're interested in using. I do that whenever we create an assignment. For example, the last assignment they did was for the Men Who Built America project, and I chose hashtag TMWBA, and I was sure to check it because who knows out there what TMWBA could stand for that maybe I'm not totally sure of. So always check your hashtags just to double check. All right, any questions at all so far? Okay. No. Do y'all want to add anything else? We'll stop our presentation for a second. And that way they can see us.
I just think,
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I just think it's really smart to use social media in class because like so many kids are using it now.
Mhm.
So it's just like way better to like interact with them like through that way because
Yeah, I feel like they're using it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, most of my students use Instagram. So if I can just sneak in a little nugget of social studies, or even especially in the summer, I post. If I went to DC this summer, and I posted a lot of stuff while I was in DC, mainly of like historical facts or cool places. And you never know what students might see at home. Or what might be going on in their day. So I feel like one positive post on their Instagram, for me, means that I'm doing my job. You know what I mean?
And I definitely agree with that. I think social media is a very cool thing to use in the classroom. And everything is so based towards technology now that you almost need to do this to keep like up with students and what they do.
Yeah, so go ahead. We just talked about how technology causes social gaps, but go ahead.
yeah, because like if you don't like we are progressing, I guess, like into more like technology, and if you don't like interact with that, or if you don't do anything with it, like there'll be this gap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like you're saying maybe a gap between students, teachers?
Yeah.
And technology can really like fill in that gap because the teacher can get to know the student more and what's really going on in their head.
I definitely feel like, and that could be seen two ways. Like technology can obviously, there are definitely issues. I had some major tech issues this morning. So there are definitely tech issues. So you definitely have to persevere and try to get through that. But the outcome is great. Especially my 6-hour class, which they're all in, is the one that I've started using social media a lot more with, and try to see the effects. And if I compared their class to the other two that I teach that don't use social media as much, you can definitely see a difference.
Yeah, I feel like we're closer with you.
Yeah, so
Because of
we're closer. Okay.
And I also think, and this is kind of what I said earlier, by using social media and this technology, even though it can fail, you're also going to be probably going to be the one who fixes it. And so that definitely prepares students for later in life. And like I said, technology is becoming such a big thing now in just like adults' workplace. And for kids to be able to go through this in school and to figure out a lot of this stuff is just preparing them for the future, which a lot of times we don't do that enough in school. And so I think it's really cool that we're working through technology now and being ready for our life later on.
I definitely agree. We also have habits of work and learning at Butterfield. Like we call them our HOWLs, and it's all about respect, responsibility, and perseverance. And so I think even tech issues that definitely come up a lot. When we have those tech issues and a student sees their teacher persevere and get through it, or even, I mean, I have students that we use Google Classroom a lot. And when we have issues on Google Classroom, and my phrase, what is my phrase? Be a problem solver. Okay, so, and I say be a problem solver, and it's up to them, at least for that little bit, to try to muddle through it. And I like to honor the struggle. Unless it's your fault.
Yeah.
We also have tech geniuses in class, so this just goes on with the technology piece. But we have tech geniuses in class that are supposed to help if we do have technology issues. It's their responsibility to be the first go-to and help out students. Do we have any questions? Because that's really all we've got. We've got quite a bit of time left.
Well, do you have other podcasts with other people that are asking questions?
Yeah, we had some questions then. E.T., do you have any questions? Okay, we're gonna, do y'all want to talk about any of our activities in class that maybe were technology based or?
Facebook?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
talk about Facebook. Okay.
So recently we've done the fake book where we've got men of America that built America. We studied them and looked for their accomplishments and struggles in life, and we made a fake book for them. And we went through a timeline of what they've done in their life and their family. Basically a fake Facebook for them.
Can you give examples of some of the people that y'all did? I think all three of you did somebody different.
I did.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I did Carnegie.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Um,
And then,
I did Louis Latimer.
okay.
And I did Cornelius Vanderbilt, which was really, really informative and cool.
So I think I actually have Kate's pulled up. Let me see if I can get it. Let's see if we can grab it. Maybe.
Is that Louis?
Do that. I'm going to go ahead and share our presentation from earlier, but it has the Men Who Built America project that they were just talking about. So let me go ahead and share the screen. Okay. So I think this one's it. No, here. All right, here's the rubric for that project. So just like they said, there's steps. They had to choose a person to cover, conduct research, and then they created a fake book. And this is pretty much what all my rubrics look like. And then at the end, their final product looked like this. Is this yours, Cade? Maybe?
I believe so.
Okay. So it was a fun project. They looked all through their life, and then they had to choose the events that they thought would be important to show on Facebook. So it used some analysis and definitely some research.
And I think when you do projects like this with technology, just something different than what you usually do in the classroom, it sticks with you more, just what you've learned, because you can easily think back to the time when you did it, and you just think more about it more often than you would just regular class assignment.
So it was fun. And they had to stand up and present. It's definitely some creative choices. Are there any questions? We've got plenty of time left. 30 minutes. I see we've got viewers. We'd be happy to answer just about anything. Do y'all have anything else you want to share? Any other cool projects we did? Do you want to talk about You want to talk about the box? So they want to talk about the box. All right. Just a little preview, but when they're going to start talking about what they call the box, it's Breakout EDU. So if you've not heard about it, you can Google it, Breakout EDU. And this is the main site for it. You can purchase a box, and if you play, it'll tell you a little bit about it. You can purchase a box, or you can create your own. And that's what I did. My husband built my box, and I ordered some locks and a invisible ink pen and UV light. And your goal, it's basically an escape room for the classroom, and students have to break into this box using clues about what you're studying in class. So go ahead, guys.
Well, there was 2 locks on the box, and she gave us the first clue and 2 hints, and it was basically a treasure hunt, and we went all around the room trying to find different hints and riddles, and whenever it was pretty crazy. Yeah, everyone was like excited and jumping around and rushing to get to the next clue.
And what was really cool about it is Miss Gillespie made it sort of competitive. She split the class in half as evenly as she could, and whoever got to the last clue and opened the box the quickest won a prize.
Which I think we were all in the same group when we did.
And we won it because we're that good. And it was really, really fun because we were working on Civil War at the time. And so it was just different clues about how the Civil War went, Abraham Lincoln's life, and I learned a lot during it. And I just thought it was a really fun way to learn.
I think it was definitely different in that, so instead of me lecturing or talking about a subject, the students were kind of figuring out for themselves. And because of the clues, they ended up learning more than they might have typically learned. For example, the first clue for our Civil War breakout is just a page that talks about the carpetbaggers. And so you have 15 students. I divide my class up into, like Cade said, half of my students go in the hallway or in another room, maybe with another teacher, and they work on something on Google Classroom. And then the other half is doing the box, and I'm kind of helping to facilitate that. So like I said, the first clue is about the carpetbaggers and gives lots and lots of information about the Civil War, what carpetbaggers were, and you have 15 students that are kind of debating, maybe arguing.
Using the numbers that you gave us.
They start trying to like use the numbers from the maybe years from the article to try to open the locks. I'm like, guys, it's not going to open your first time. But so they use that. They also, well, Google this. And so they start searching for more things and digging more into history instead of, where was the next clue?
Under the carpet.
Under the carpet. So carpetbaggers under the carpet. But it was almost like tricking them. Again, I trick you a lot.
Skipped a clue.
Yeah, they almost skipped a clue.
Would have made it just fine,
yeah.
but you made us go back.
I made them go back and look for it. But they definitely tried to find out more through using the box and the clues than they would have done previously. So if you have any more questions about how to make a breakout box, I have 3 or 4 that are created to use. Last week I got to create some breakout sessions and have teachers from our freshman academy take part in that. So if you're interested in knowing how to create a breakout box or how to create maybe some scavenger hunts for your curriculum, let me know because I have lots of fun doing it.
I just want to say because I really liked it because like I've never done anything like that, and it brought everybody's like inner detective out.
Yeah.
Like I just
And
just want to know what's in the box.
Yeah, just to find out what's in. We also, at the beginning of the year, we do a color survey. So, what are your colors? Gold,
gold.
gold,
was-
green.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
That's green too.
So I've got my golds and greens here. Most of the class is probably orange and blue. And that comes out a lot in the box. I really like the color. I like the theory behind using the colors, and I see it a lot in class. But what was interesting is that in the different clues, so some of the clues would be geared towards certain types of learners, geared towards my oranges. Some would be geared towards blues. The golds and the greens, these are the ones that would tear a clue apart and try to read deeper into it. And the oranges would be just going around the room trying to find
Think
things.
out of the box.
So like one of the clues, it was hidden underneath a chair. So it was definitely the greens and the golds, like you guys, that were reading the clue or on the internet trying to figure it out. And the oranges would be going around
Flipping over all
the chairs. Which it was really cool because you get to see the different personalities in class really shine through. All right, do we have any other questions? No.
Like any.
Is anyone even listening?
We'll talk about anything.
Like if you want to know my age, I will tell you right now. Anything. Whoops.
We get the charger paid. All right. So do you have any more class activities that you want to talk about? Training now? Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So talk about how we start every class. You're good. I can even show that. Yeah.
We start every class with getting our Chromebooks and going on to Google Classroom, and Ms. Gillespie always has this cartoon for us that we have to like. There's 3 categories, and one we have to like identify what's in it and guess what the whole thing is about, like the cartoon's about, and then finally just like the topic of that cartoon.
I get the cartoons every day, and you can see here. I get it off of Editorial Cartoonist, and I actually got this idea from someone at the museum this summer in Washington, D.C. So here's our history emails for the month of January. And every morning I'll just go to Editorial Cartoonist, and it's kind of an easy way for me to keep up with the news too. And I'll choose one to make our cartoon or our do now for the day. And then students will, actually I can show you. So then we have a do now template. And I think I might have edited earlier today. Yeah.
I also like it because like not a lot of kids in our class watch the news, and these little cartoons just like inform them just a little bit, like what's going on every day.
Yeah. So every day they come in and they'll do now. They'll come in, write the date down, and then they'll go to the latest cartoon. So our last one was Tuesday, and they'll just no, this is Tuesdays because you're on your project. They'll copy it, and then they'll go back to their template, and then they'll paste it, and it'll come out kind of big. So they'll have to edit down the size to make it fit. And then they write down what they see, what inferences they can make on the newsworthy topics. Now, at the beginning of the year, I led all of our discussions, and then the second quarter, I chose someone, like today, Astrid, you're going to lead discussion. And now, for this semester, our third quarter, I've changed it to where I get volunteers. So who wants to lead discussion today? And sometimes I still have to say, so-and-so, you're leading discussion today. And depending on what we're doing, I might still lead discussion. But it's a fun way to kind of get caught up in the news.
Sometimes it brings up debates.
Yes, we have a lot of debates in class because of them. Especially, I'm going to be really sad when when next November is over, because a lot of ours have to do with the presidential race.
Yeah.
And so we probably won't have quite as exciting political cartoons every day. Another thing we can talk about is the way we do notes in class. I really like it. It's definitely different. So I still kind of do a lecture, and we have notes maybe once or twice every couple of weeks. But I use Google Slides, and I'll put it up on our Promethean board. And it's an easy way for me to give information but not give all of it at once, or have students writing all the notes down when we're still talking about what the unit's on. So I'll present it, and then students will write down what they see. So we'll start with our title, and then we'll discuss for a little bit about what expansion is.
Also, so it will be like really overwhelming for us.
Mhm.
We take it little at a time.
Yeah, they're like bite-sized notes, so we just do a little section. And it also gives students the ability to still organize their notes the way they want to. I have some that kind of do sketch notes, and I have some that like to do very organized outline notes, probably my goals. And then it just kind of lets them still be their own person and do things they want to do, how they want to do it. But we'll have a little, like, I'll be discussing the notes with them, and we might talk a little bit about George Washington, or I might have students turn and talk to a partner, or tables discuss for a little bit, and then we'll move on to our next note. But it lets me keep attention a little bit longer instead of putting all the notes up there and us being here.
I'm trying to rush you.
Yeah, and students be writing what's down there. So that's nice. Anything else?
Questions?
Any questions? We're asking for questions.
I like begging.
Let's see if we got anything else here we can discuss. Right now they're working on a project. You can talk about the project we're working on now.
Okay, so our project right now is we are studying world fairs and different inventions. And after we did this, we were making our own World's Fair. So we decided where we wanted this World Fair to be, what we wanted to be there. And we had different people in our group do different things, like a facilitator, materials manager, artist, and just different things like that. And this definitely helped us learn about cooperation, just different things internationally, and we learned a lot of different stuff about World's Fair.
And what's neat I like about this project, I use Google Classroom, and I was able to I created this PowerPoint and pushed it out to all my students, and then it gives me the option of making a copy for all my students. So they have their own copy that they can edit of this World's Fair PowerPoint, and then we go through it together. So we have our learning targets. We talk about our rubric at the beginning of the project, which those are our learning targets. And then this is really important, and something that I started doing. We have slides and day-by-day planning. You can get the door if you want to. day-by-day planning. So on Monday, I said we were going to get through slide 6, and then so on. But students can work and they can edit this document as a group and write what they want to write. So, and then they can also submit it as a group. So I can see all their work on one document instead of me having to view everybody from the group's separate document, and it stays really organized on this PowerPoint.
If we want, we can just share it with the group.
So that's important, lots of share features. You can talk about that.
There's not really much to
So yeah, if we have one student who's opened up the document and that's the one that the group's going to work on, then they'll share it with everybody else in the group. So maybe everybody can have out a Chromebook and be working at one time, but it's all on that same document, which is really nice.
Also, it's easier because if the person that usually, like the materials manager, is sick or like not there, other people can work on it.
Okay.
I can share.
Yeah. It also shares with me, and so I get to access everyone's. So if yesterday we had a student absent, and the day before he created this PowerPoint and made some edits to it, then I can share it with other people in the group if he forgot to, and that way they can still access it, and it's not like they've left their paper at home and they're not going to get to do anything until tomorrow. They can still work just like that person was there. Any other questions? All right, I guess we're going to start ending this. It is about time for us to leave, and I think they're getting a little hungry. So unless y'all have anything else to add or unless we see any questions, that's all we've got for you. But we really thank you for joining us and for viewing. This is Ashley Gillespie, and I'm from Butterfield Trail Middle School, and I've got some awesome students here, and they're very thankful that you've joined us today also. All right, have a great day. Thank you.